Alrighty, so a couple of people have asked and I shall gatekeep this no longer. This is how I made my Kizaru cosplay. Alright, so first off we're going to need some supplies. So to the salon, the fabric store to the... Alright, so I found these two fabrics that I thought really worked well together. I actually had like a kinda inspo pick. So if they had like pre-striped fabric, I probably would have opted for that just for like mental health purposes, because this is a lot to put together, but like they did not. So I got to like have a cute little color match for myself there. So I got like a slightly brighter version of the inspo pick, which is these two fabrics over here. I picked these two colors because I thought there was like a dapperness to like the way that the colors mix together. Like I know Kizaru can like come off as like a goofy guy sometimes, but I feel like he has like a very... before he speaks his soupy spoke way of like entering into the picture, then he just becomes him. So I kind of wanted that reflected in like his fit a little bit. If you're looking to do his post Timeskip fit, then here is like a little inspo pic as well. And now that we've acquired the fabrics, we start doing this, I don't know what you call this, but like you cut off a little piece at the start of each row, and then you take one piece of thread and you start pulling it so that it gives you these little like lines that are going to help you cut perfectly straight, because you need to cut this perfectly straight. The lines are going to be right next to each other. So like it's quite imperative that like the lines are literally as straight as humanly possible. Each of my stripes was about 4 centimeters wide, and then I cut like a little 4 centimeter ruler so I don't have to measure out each time. I can just use that as like a marker. I kind of feel like I could have pushed the rows to like 5-ish centimeters each and still had them looking proper, but yeah, it is what it is. They were 4 centimeters wide each. And then just start cutting the fabric, and it's gonna turn into a pile and an even bigger pile. You just get you a really long, really nice series that you're on episode 1 of, and just get cutting. You're gonna be there a while. Okay, and then right sides together, you're gonna pin one yellow stripe to one like brown stripe, and then we're gonna sew them together. Make sure that you use one seam allowance and you remember what it is, because you're gonna be using that seam allowance throughout, whatever you choose it to be. Because if you use different seam allowances, you're gonna have wonky, uneven stripes. Alright, and then the process is pretty simple. From here, you just turn the 2 to a 4, 4 to a 8. A nice week long release date. What are those lyrics? Oh my gosh. But yeah, then you just have this super gargantuan panel eventually of all the stripes you have put together, and you can just like look at it and be happy for a little while and take a break after this, because this is a lot. Oh my gosh, this is a lot. And then next you're gonna print out your sewing pattern. So I got mine from this place called Dr. Cos. The pattern is completely free, and I know this pattern is for a coat and not a suit, but like it's literally the hardest thing to find a suit pattern for like a double-breasted suit online for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. And a coat is basically a suit that is not cinched in, so I was just gonna cinch it in along the way, keep it moving. So that was my plan. Alright, while we're taking a break from those stripes, let's make the epaulets in the meantime so that at least something is done. So I just took a little D-Light container, like a little margarine container, and I made a circle, and then you just connect the little rectangle to the circle and angle the front corners of the rectangle. That was my epaulet shape. Do and like execute it however you want it to look. And then I just took a leftover pizza box and made a little like base sort of frame for the epaulets using that. So yeah, make 2 of those, one for your left and one for your right shoulder. Then I cut another 2 pieces using EVA foam. This is completely optional though, you can just use another box. I kind of wanted it to be thick and cushiony looking, so that's why I did that. And then there's the cross section of the base of the epaulet. And then for the top portion of the epaulet, I cut out a circle using that same circle from earlier with the EVA foam and then 1 sponge. Again, you can use a box. I just had them lying around, so I was like, well, why not? And that is basically our little epaulet sandwich over there. Don't forget to make one for both shoulders. And then I did them this way because he does have a 2-tone epaulet, so the circle is going to be that yellow sort of fabric, and then that front rectangular little section is going to be the more brown material, and then the base is going to be the yellow material again. Alright, and then what we're going to need for the epaulette is a fancy schmancy piece of rope, the 2 materials that we used for the actual suit, and then 1 super dramatic tassel. Or at least that's how I did it. Literally execute this however you wish. Then using the yellow fabric, cut out pieces for the base and the circle parts of the epaulette. And then just find a way to like glue them onto the thing. Mine was not exactly like perfect, but it works. And then I did the same with the brown fabric and that front piece. So as you can see, there they are. But yeah, I literally just attached them on with a glue gun and some hope. And then sandwiched in between the base and the top part is going to be the tassel. So there you can see I'm like lining it up like that. And then I just glue the tassel all around the circle part. I actually did like 2 bundles of tassels. Volume. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, you just glue it onto the base. And then essentially I'm just going to like glue the top onto like everything. And there's the epaulette. And there's our little epaulette 360, the top, the bottom, and the sides, and the top, and the bottom, and the sides. So yeah. And then take the super dramatic rope and hide those like edges between the base and the like top part. I couldn't take it all around because I didn't have enough rope, so I just did that. But yeah, there is the epaulette. And because I don't know how to write justice in Japanese, I literally just printed this out and used it as like a little cutout to write because yeah, I I don't want to shock people. Alright, and then back to the suit. I literally just cut the suit pieces along the printed out pattern pieces and then started putting them together. Just make sure that the stripes are pointing down always, except for the collar pieces, those go around. But yeah, essentially make sure that like your stripes go where your stripes need to go. And then from here, I'm just operating on hope. I'm hoping that this pattern works and hoping, like this is my like second thing with a collar that I've made like in my life ever. So I was just hoping that it sort of makes sense. So there's the front panel and the back panel and the little like inside part of the collar. I was trying to figure out how to like cinch everything in and make it work. But like, yeah, it's starting to take shape kinda. And then I did the top collar as well, and it was at this point that I realized that this cosplay is literally like 1,000,000,000 degrees Celsius. And I was gonna wear it on a hot day in Nazareth. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, and then here are the pants. I think I just used like a regular pair of pants that I had to like forge out a pattern, but you can find some on Dr. Cos and some on Mood Society as well for free if you'd like. Just use like a pattern that kind of works for what you are looking for. And once I had like a general pattern going, I started sewing on the sleeves, and then I actually ran out of fabric. So I was like screaming internally because I might have to go through that whole process again of sewing. So there I am. So by the time I got done remaking those stripes, it was literally like 10 seconds to like the convention, and I needed to wear it there. So I don't have a lot of footage, so I'm just going to explain the rest of what I did. I got this pattern from Dr. Cos because it has those little standing collars that I didn't know how to make before. And then now, because the pattern is sleeveless, I just like added sleeves. I just added super long dramatic Admiral sleeves and called it a day. There's the coat. I used that little template that I showed you guys before to paint on justice on the coat. So yeah, that is literal fabric paint, just popped on there on the morning of the con, and it dried on the way to the con. Then I used Velcro to attach the epaulettes to the coat. They sell this super thick Velcro at P&A. And then the rest is just the shades, the blue top, and like the tie. My tie is actually that purple sailor tie that I used for Yukako. But because the tie goes into the suit, it can just sort of larp around as like a regular tie. So there I am, convention morning, going to go parade this that I just made 10 seconds ago. Please be better than me and add some lining, because I have not added lining to anything, and I should have. I should. It's ridiculous that I have not. Anyway, there we go, our dear Uncle Kizaru. Yeah.